Hey there everybody, Travis Bowman here. I'm a fingerstyle guitar player and retro video game nerd. At the time of this video, it has only been a few days since the official successor to the Nintendo Switch was revealed by Nintendo, and it's called the Nintendo Switch 2. So, I figured we could do a quick video, a discussion video if you will, and talk about what this is going to be and what I quite frankly wish it was. At this particular time, we only have little bits of information. We don't know exactly what is going to be under the hood in this Nintendo Switch 2, but I can say that it looks a lot like its predecessor. I can imagine that this is going to be the Nintendo Switch on steroids pretty much, which is totally fine for some people, but I myself would rather Nintendo take an approach that they've done in the past. So the Switch is an extremely popular video game console. It's one of Nintendo's most popular. I think the DS is still beating it by a little bit, and the Wii U was a colossal failure. However, I really do like the Wii U. I like the design of the Wii U. I think the reason that it kind of tanked was because people didn't understand what the hell it was. I mean, the Wii was so popular, they didn't really understand, like, is it an add-on for the Wii? It just kind of completely collapsed. Now, a lot of people are speculating that the name Nintendo Switch 2 is because Nintendo is playing it safe, meaning they don't want another Wii U fiasco where nobody has any idea what the thing is. Although I can see their point and their reasoning for doing so, I really don't think that they were in any danger like they were with the Wii U. I think calling it the Nintendo Switch 2 is a little bit of a lazy choice, considering that the only other time Nintendo has ever used the number 2 to name a console is not even for a console, it's for the Super Game Boy 2. It's really strange, really strange that they went with that name. I think everybody was really hoping that they would call it the Super Nintendo Switch and do the Super Nintendo color scheme with the buttons and stuff. That, in my opinion, would have been a really smart choice because not only would it cater to kids who are going to be into the thing anyway, regardless of the design, it would really cater to guys like me in their 30s that grew up with the Super Nintendo and Nintendo as a brand in general. Another option that they could have gone with, which in my opinion is equally cool, would be to name it the Nintendo Switch Advance. Throw it back to the Game Boy Advance, you know? The Game Boy was extremely successful for them, and now it's pretty much gone to history. I think throwing it back just with that one word, advance, would really be a super cool thing. But, you know, it's just a name. That doesn't matter. What matters is what is the console capable of and how is it going to be different than its predecessor? We can't answer that question right now because we don't know the information. What we do know is, other than it pretty much looking and acting just like its predecessor, the Nintendo Switch, we have some interesting developments with the Joy-Cons. And now, this is not confirmed yet, but it does look like you can slip that Joy-Con off and use it as like an optical mouse for some reason. A lot of people are really getting on board with that, saying that's a great idea, but what I'm not understanding is, okay, that covers your right hand to use your mouse and play first-person shooter games, but what about your left hand? Because if we pull this off right here, you know, I can use a couple of buttons with the left hand, but that would just be kind of strange. Am I the only person that thinks this, that it would be weird to do action buttons and stuff with your left hand while moving your mouse cursor? And where are you going to do this? That's another thing. Like, I've got this set up for Steel Battalion on the original Xbox, so my main TV is right there. So imagine me being on the other side of this table. This is where I would sit to do like Steel Battalion or something like that. But I'm not understanding what the mouse is supposed to be for. Maybe you guys could help clarify that if you have any speculation as to what that could be in the comment section below. But I think the obvious answer is most likely going to be first-person shooter games and stuff like that, and maybe even web browsing. That's another thing that we could talk about. The Nintendo Switch is not really that great of a console as far as extra features and what you can do with it besides gaming, which in my opinion is not necessarily a bad thing. But as far as the user interface, it's very vanilla, very bland. There's not a lot you can do with it. And the eShop is extremely buggy, and it takes forever to navigate even on a fantastic Wi-Fi connection. So I'm hoping that they do something different in that regard, meaning, what about Street Pass on the 3DS? You know, getting people together. If you're in a crowd of people and you both have a 3DS with the Street Pass, you will be notified, you know, bringing people together with your consoles. I would love to see some sort of user interface like that, you know, that kind of separates it from everybody else. The Steam Deck is great. The Steam Deck is an amazing piece of technology. PlayStation 5 is great. Xbox Series X is great. But I think Nintendo should really keep going down that path of being innovative and doing their own thing. And it looks like, from what I've seen thus far, is that they're just trying to compete with the Steam Deck and other modern handheld, Windows-based handhelds, which will probably work for them, but I think it leaves guys like me kind of disappointed. I would really like to see them do something super innovative. For example, the Wii U. It's a great console. If you haven't dabbled in the Wii U, kind of like the N64, there's only a few games that really are exclusive to the console that really stand out and it's worth getting for, but those games are awesome, man. Zombie U is a great example of something that they could utilize going forward with the Nintendo Switch successor, the Switch 2. So on that game, you have the gamepad with the screen, you know, and you use it as a controller, but on your television, you have the actual game. It's a first-person game, and on the screen, you do your item management, which is really kind of cool because it makes it that much more intense. You can only look at your items and stuff on this screen, which means you have to look down and look away from what's actually happening on the screen. You know, stuff like that is really cool, and it's really creative, and I really enjoyed that part of the Wii U, using the gamepad in a different way. So what I was really hoping for with this new Nintendo Switch is that they take the Nintendo Switch, which is obviously one of their most successful consoles, and mesh it with their other most successful console, the DS. Why they did not choose to go with some sort of dual screen route is beyond me. I think there's so much potential. There's so much potential in having a dual screen console that's updated to modern standards. And if they don't do that, which, you know, it's kind of obvious that they might not. I know a lot of speculation is that there's a USB port on the top of the console this time. And there's also one on the bottom, you know, because you got to dock the thing, right? But a lot of people are speculating, what is that top USB port supposed to be for? We don't know yet. We simply don't know. But a lot of people are also speculating that they're going to sell another screen separately that's going to connect on the top of it like that, which that's probably not the best idea from Nintendo if they do it that way. It should have been a clamshell device just like the DS was. Hear me out on this. What if they take the concept of the dual screen and the Wii U and they blend them together, and you have one screen on your television and one screen right here in front of you? So not only can you play your Nintendo Switch 2 in docked mode like this, you can also play it in handheld mode, but what if they had certain games that came out that utilized both screens, your television and the handheld? That would be cool. And I can only imagine what they would come up with. Nintendo has always been creative, love them or hate them. They have always been a very deep driving force in creativity with video games, you know? I mean, with the Wii U, the DS, it's crazy how much they've innovated over the years, and I really hope that they don't stop here. And that's kind of what it's looking like. It's looking like what we are going to have is a handheld that pretty much only plays exclusive Nintendo games for this console. You might have a mouse, and that's pretty much it. I hate to say this, but people have shown that the Steam Deck plays Nintendo Switch games better than the Nintendo Switch does in some cases, which is a little embarrassing for Nintendo. I would just hate to see Nintendo just throw it out and play it safe, even though that's the smart decision. I would love to see them take a risk like they've always done, because more often than not, history will show that the risks that they have taken have been proven successful. You know, the N64 was not that successful at the time, but it's a legendary console that people remember fondly, you know? And the Virtual Boy was a disaster, but they recovered after that. The DS, the Game Boy Advance, all of those were very, very successful consoles. And I feel like, for the most part, they were pretty innovative, especially the DS. And then the 3DS came out. You know, I think what they're trying to do is just play it safe. So I'd be very interested to know what you guys think about this. What do you think? What are we going to see in the next coming year with the Nintendo Switch 2? Let me know the answers to all those questions in the comments section below. Thanks for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. And thank you for subscribing. I'll catch you guys at the next video. Bye-bye.